Hey, what's up everyone? Raging Golden Eagle here, having way too much fun as always. And I've kind of talked about this topic in the past a few times, but especially given the current political climate pretty much everywhere, it's pretty important to talk about companies being ideological from time to time. And to start with, I gotta say, my views are pretty much exactly the same as they were like 2 years ago when I last talked about this. I like to go into things in good faith and do my best to separate the art from the artist. For the most part, as long as companies aren't pushing their ideology into their product, I try not to let their ideology bother me all that much. Notable exceptions being if they do what Marvel's been doing and flat out insult their customers, or I guess another case which never happened to me before but has happened to other people I know, if they brag about donating a portion of their profits to a cause that I disagree with. And again, this specific issue has never come up with me, but I could see where other people may be affected. But either way, the reason it's actually important to talk about this again is because of how much more of it we've been seeing. This seems to be especially prevalent in small niche markets, especially as more and more new companies keep cropping up. You got more companies competing for smaller slices of a pie that's not getting any bigger, so they start getting creative to stand out. And one of the tactics a lot of these companies use when they want to stand out is, well, virtue signaling. If you're lucky, they keep it to social media. If not, then they try to ram it into their products themselves. But after a little while, it starts getting even more interesting. As we've seen in pretty much every industry that exists, after everybody tripping over themselves to virtue signal to one side over and over again, eventually someone figures out, hey, the other side is not really being served, so let's virtue signal to the other side and maybe get their money. And if you really think about it, when it comes to video games anyway, they kinda see something similar to a lesser extent when it comes to censorship. We've been fighting censorship for so long that some of these companies have figured out that all they have to do to get a whole bunch of guaranteed sales is to flat out say, oh hey, we're gonna give you this stuff uncensored. Kind of a sad state of affairs, isn't it? When companies actually can come out and say, hey, we're gonna give you what you actually want and what you've been demanding all this time, and this is the exception and not the norm. But anyway, back to regular virtue signaling. We can already see the appeals to the other side happening in multiple industries. For instance, in the comic industry, you now got alt-hero in the works, designed from the ground up to pretty much be the polar opposite of SJW Marvel, which I guess is good for the people that want to see more of those types of messages, but not so much good for those that just want to get all politics out of their comics and who just want adventure stories. So let's move on from comics to some other industry altogether where you pretty much can't shove your ideology into your product. Coffee. Apparently Starbucks tried to virtue signal to the left one too many times. Cause now a right-wing coffee company, that being Black Rifle Coffee Company, seems to be exploding in popularity as an alternative. And these guys are smart. They've been riding the wave of anti-Starbucks backlash pretty damn well. They even advertise on their packaging that a portion of their profits go towards causes that are pushing the Second Amendment and veterans' rights and things like that. They basically look and see that Starbucks virtue signaling is alienating half of their customer base, so they're just coming out with their banners going, hey, you half of the customer base that Starbucks is alienating, you can come to us instead. And this is the part where I have to basically admit to kind of playing this game myself from time to time. While I do stand by my original ideals that I pointed out at the beginning of this video, there are cases, like with coffee, where I'm not particularly loyal to one brand and two companies make pretty much the same product, and if that's the case, then hell yeah, I'm going to show bias towards the company that actually advertises having similar ideals to my own. If they're basically making the same product anyway, then yeah, I'll admit, I gravitate towards the one I agree with the most. However, if their product turns out to be shit compared to the other company that I may disagree with, I got no qualms going back to the other company. But hey, you can at least give me credit for giving them a shot. Honestly, I'm not too happy about the way the situation is right now. It would be nice if everything under the sun wasn't being politicized. But you know what? If we have to put up with everything being political, fine, I'll play your damn game. But you only get one shot though. While the other guys are talking smack about me, you want to try to suck up to me? Okay, I'll bite. But it's not enough to just share political views. You actually have to provide a decent product. Luckily, when it comes to Black Rifle Coffee, they provide a decent product. And no, I'm not being sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. But they are the inspiration for me making this video. I was looking to buy some coffee, I remembered them, and I just thought to myself, okay, you know what, I'll give them a shot. Can't hurt. So in a way, if you want to try something new, hell, this ain't any better or worse of a way than any other way to do it. For all you know, the old company you used to be loyal to talking smack to you and driving you away might actually lead to you discovering something you like even better than them. But if that's not the case, then don't feel too bad about not supporting the guys who agree with you politically because they make a shitty product. I can't fault these companies for trying new ways to advertise and get people to buy their stuff, but that only works to get people's foot in the door. You actually got to be good enough to keep the customers there. So remember that before you try this tactic. That's all I've got to say, guys. Thanks for listening.